Interviews in quite a while, and I'm with a very, very talented guy here. A lot of you will know who he is. Some of you won't. I tell you what, right? I'm one of these people who I went past where this guy works or his gigs, and he's a hardworking, very talented guy. Honestly, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen, to be honest with you. And for years I've walked past them, especially this little pub called Uncle Ped's in Benidorm. And Benidorm is one of my favorite place. And then I went in one time and I saw Pablo playing, and I tell you what, absolutely amazing. That's all I could say. He's such a talented guy. Pablo Bloom, welcome on the Pod Blast. How are you?
How you doing, mate? Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No
Yeah, I
problem,
haven't done
mate.
a video call for since 2020. So it's yeah. I wish I could come over. Is it Edinburgh you're at?
Edinburgh, yeah, certainly is. It's
Yeah.
it's just such a pleasure having you on here because I mean, I should have actually saw your act years ago because you've been based at the same kind of venue for quite. How long have you been there for now, Uncle Ped's?
Well, I've been playing in Benidorm. It's my 19th year. Just finished
Yeah,
19 years in Benidorm.
yeah,
It's just a
19
long time.
years. Absolutely.
But I've been doing my one man show for probably the last 12 years or so.
Yeah,
And so it was a lot of different venues over the years.
yeah.
But since the break we had because of COVID,
Mhm.
I've been in Uncle Ped's. I've always sort of worked there. It wasn't my main venue.
Yeah.
But then during, all the after COVID and all that, we sort of he really took care of the acts, and he always kept the live music going, and I always made sure that I'll be
Mhm.
loyal to him when everything reopened. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, I mean, apart from the act you're doing now, which is amazing, I mean, you kind of started off doing like tribute acts. I mean, you did like your Buddy Holly thing, didn't you? It was like,
I came over to Benidorm. I never heard of Benidorm really. I came over. We used to play in a band, the Beatles tribute band.
yeah,
We played in Mallorca. That was my
hmm,
first time performing for British audiences.
yeah,
And Mallorca was a seasonal thing. Usually, it was like 6 months a year. So they were tired of that, and they
hmm,
said, "Let's go to mainland Spain."
yeah.
And we just drove up to this place. I remember seeing the skyscrapers for the first time, just the madness on the streets, and yeah. Good place.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I tell you, I mean, a couple of months ago when I was in Spain, I think it's nearly 2 months now, and you totally blew us away. Just how great your show was. You were so funny. Absolutely brilliant. Comedy and just your music was brilliant. It's like you're either going either comedy or either music. You got a bit of both. And it's like, I mean, years ago you used to get a lot of that here in the UK, a lot of or even America. But honestly, you've mastered it and it is brilliant.
It,
Absolutely
it's a
fantastic, mate.
it's a weird show. Like it's a bit of a patches. It's a hybrid and patches of stuff
Yeah.
that I've done over the years, and
Yeah.
sort of where I came from musically, starting with the tribute bands.
Yeah.
When I started doing one man shows, again, it was very heavily based on music. But I
Hmm.
really enjoy. I'm a big comedy fan.
Hmm.
I like Scottish comedy as well. It
Yeah.
took me a while, and and I remember when I came to Spain, I had some English friends. I just
Hmm.
made people in Valencia, and that's an old an old reference of Billy Connolly, and I didn't understand a word what you said. Didn't understand.
Billy Conley. You know what's funny? Once upon a time, I used to work as a postman, and Billy Conley.
And everything made sense. Mi auntie Agnes made me a balaclava. I was like, oh, I understand that now.
But Billy Conley, I used to be a postman years ago, and he used to come to Edinburgh every few years or something. And when he would come here, he would walk past me, and I'd say hello, and he'd be like hello back to me. And then where I used to deliver in the Grass Market in Edinburgh, used to see him just sitting there watching all the acts a bit around him, just rolling up his cigarette and had his waistcoat on and just had his glasses on, just watching everything. It was, just seeing him there, Billy Connolly, just a legend,
Mm.
just a fantastic comedian, brilliant, good
Yeah.
actor as well.
Yeah. Well, I've loved comedy growing up, and when I started working as a musician, I
Yeah.
always wanted to have banter, and it was when I was in the band, it was quite awkward as well because it was a Beatles tribute band, so you
Mhm.
can't really say whatever you want to say. You could just, sort of stick to character a bit. So it was just introducing the songs. So I would get laughs introducing the songs.
Mhm.
And my three bandmates were Spanish, so everything they would say was very scripted and very basic English. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the interaction as well. So when I started performing by myself, all of a sudden it was this freedom of able to control the rhythm of the show and stop and ask for stuff. At first, I was still a tribute act as well, doing like Buddy Holly or John Lennon, and then you sort of feel limited to the character you're paying tribute to, and and also no one knew my name. People would call me John or Buddy. And so I started doing the show under my own name, Pablo Bloom, and then I started to have more freedom of choosing whatever song that comes to mind, really giving it the freedom of talking to the audience. I've always been a big outsider as well, because I'm not British and I'm not Spanish and I've
Yeah.
been, so everything was such a, well, my English was very American when I first came
Yeah.
to Benidorm. So a lot of the slang words, a lot of the accents I didn't know. So you learn so much on it, and I just made everything part of the show. My whole, experience became the
Fantastic.
show.
And the thing is, I mean, see, before each show, I mean, obviously every night that you're playing, or just about every night, do you make it each show different, or is it just more or less the same type of thing you're doing?
I do try. I mean, for my mental health, not to do the same show every night is a requirement. I need something to happen, so I'm entertained as well.
Mhm.
I'm always working on stuff, new materials and new songs, and I'm always leaving space in the show for things to happen.
Mhm.
So I'd ask a few questions, a few audience members, a few questions. There's always also it helps that Benidorm is such a lively place.
Yeah.
People they're on holiday, they're very, they had a few drinks, and they're very extroverts. So it doesn't take much to get an audience to give you some material to work with.
I tell you what, some of the interaction you have with the audience is absolutely class. It is so funny. Honestly, it's brilliant. And it's like, I think the last time I was there, you interacted with something like 9 or 10 people, and you knew where they were from, and I don't know how you did it, honestly. Incredible.
Well, it's a bit compensating for the singing skills. So yeah.
Br- Brilliant. Well, what I'm going to ask you is tell me about your childhood, Pablo. I mean, how did everything kind of like start for you when you were a kid? Like, what happened?
So I had a bit of a unusual biography. I was born in Argentina.
Hmm.
My parents moved to Israel.
Hmm.
I grew up. I come from a Jewish family from all
Yeah.
sides.
Hmm.
I'm 100% inbred Jew.
Hmm.
And we moved. They moved to Israel when I was a baby, and I grew up there. I grew up in Israel in a kibbutz. Have you
Hmm.
heard of kibbutz before? It's like a commune.
Hmm.
So it's a sort of I guess lifestyle. It's some sort of a small town where all the
Hmm.
things are services are shared. So there's a big
Hmm.
dining room where the whole town, eats together. It's a small community. It's like
Hmm.
400 people or so.
Yeah.
And out of coincidence, that specific town I lived in was mainly Americans,
Hmm.
uh, people that came to Israel in the 60s and stuff.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a very American atmosphere, which
Hmm.
really helped me because music wise, and speaking English,
Hmm.
I don't have an Israeli accent speaking in English.
Yeah.
An Israeli
Yeah.
accent would be what Borat sounds like.
Yeah. Borat. Yeah.
Yeah, Borat. So the Israeli accent and that's very
Easy, man.
off-putting. Yeah, yeah. When you
Brilliant.
when you speak Hebrew, it's a nightmare to watch his movies because half of the time he's just talking gibberish in Hebrew.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I grew up in Israel. I was very a bit of an outsider always because that town, small town I lived in, all the kids my age sort of were born there, and I came in when I was 10. So and also Pablo, I was the only Pablo I've ever met in Israel growing up there, and it's such a common name in other countries, but I was just the only one there. And I was really into just being on stage. I was kind of a drama kid,
Mhm.
and and I liked music, but I wasn't very musical. I didn't play an instrument or sing or much, but I was very much into being on stage.
Yeah.
Just I'm a middle child as well, so maybe it's a way of trying to get attention. You know, you have your older brother, younger brother. So if you make most most attention-seeking activities. But no, so I was on stage doing theater when I was a kid, and when I was a teenager, that's where like the guys started playing instruments. So a few of them put a band together,
Mhm.
and they all asked me if I wanted to sing in the band mainly because I wasn't shy on stage because I would
Mhm.
put on a show, you know. So
Mhm.
so I joined the high school band and then the high school rock band.
Mhm.
We're called the Four Plays,
Mhm.
and it was and then the bass player left, and so I just picked up the bass, and that was the first instrument. Started playing bass, which funny enough, that was my first working gig as well, because when I played bass in the Beatles tribute band as well. And
Mhm.
once you start, you get hooked. I'm very happy. My son, I got an 11-year-old son, and he's going through a similar phase now that he plays
Mhm.
bass, keyboard, guitar. Because now you get hooked, and then you just start. You want to play it all. You want to try. You want to see if you can play the songs you like, and
Mhm.
yeah. So here we
Fantastic.
are.
Well, this comes to me asking you, what was your first instrument that you played? I mean, do you remember your first instrument that you ever played?
It was a borrowed bass.
Mhm.
Our first gig, I broke a string, so it was a three string bass. And yeah, it was we used we played Basket Case by Green Day and Breakfast at Tiffany's. That was the first gig, and that's I think that's the year both songs were sort of new. Yeah, I just started picking up other instruments, and I'm from that transition generations of kids that still had CDs and even records and cassettes, but not having grown up with internet yet to be so self-sufficient as kids these days are with internet. So I learned a lot. I went to some teachers, but then self-taught. Nowadays, YouTube teaches you everything you need to know.
Fantastic. I mean, YouTube is a great platform, especially Instagram, for to show people what you can do. And, it's often, I mean, I always champion people like yourself, who are really, really good. And often, if you want to, like film people, sometimes a lot of people in places don't like you videoing and, obviously for copyright reasons and stuff like that. But, oh man, that's obviously, I mean, honestly, you blew me away the last time we saw you. And honestly, you were
Ah,
fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic. But I mean, obviously, you've been in Uncle Ped's for a good few years now. But I mean, as soon as you got to Benidorm, I mean, were you thinking, this is where I want to stay, I want to be here? Did you just get that vibe in you? Did you get that little feel in your stomach that you just want to be there and you
well,
just like,
I haven't really life sort of took me there really because I came with a band and it was a gig, it was a job there, and all of a sudden it was a steady job, and
yeah.
I was 23 years old,
Hmm.
and it gave me a lot of freedom to try stuff. You know, I'm a big comedy fan. When I go to the UK, I go watch comedians either in theaters or like small clubs, even if it's not like big comedians. So and I talk to them, and
Hmm.
I like learn getting to know people's stories and how their creativity acts in life. And a lot of comedians tell me that they struggle to find stage time because they
Hmm.
might have 3 gigs a week
Hmm.
of 20 minutes. And
Hmm.
those 20 minutes have to be to try new material and to consolidate your act. And
Hmm.
Benidorm, all of a sudden, I was on stage for like 4 hours a day because when I was younger and before the kids and everything, I was doing 4 or 5 shows a day. I
That's
had weeks
incredible.
of 20 shows. My voice was knackered. Now everything's a bit more balanced, you know.
Yeah.
But but yeah, and I was young. I wasn't making, good money per gig, so I had to do a lot of them. But it just gave you all this stage confidence of going and having lived through so many, situations on stage. You get a and even when I was doing my first steps in adding comedy to the show, the feeling when you tell a joke and no one laughs. And the first time it's like, and but then it's a muscle as well. And if you train it enough, and I've learned that some stuff won't work the first time because you're not saying it right, or you need to polish it, or this or act, and it just I love it. I love the psychology of what makes people laugh, of
Yeah.
psychology of what's entertaining, what works on
Yeah.
stage. It's
I mean, I think a lot of
uh,
your audience is predominantly British, isn't it? It's like mostly UK people that come and see you anyway, isn't it?
yeah.
So I mean, you'll kind of know a lot of the. I mean, the British. I mean, obviously you've got the Scottish and you've got the English. They've got their particular humour, and
Yeah.
especially, well, you'll know. You've got your like Northern England, you've got Southern England, you've got
Oh yeah.
you've got Glasgow, Edinburgh type humour as well. So you'll kind
Uh,
of know. You know,
It's yeah, I mean it gives you a lot of material. I mean the UK is there's so much character, into every city. Just the accents. I mean,
yeah.
as I
Sorry,
remember
I
when I
meant I meant to say Wales as well. Wales, Southern and Northern Wales as well. I don't want to
oh
leave the
yeah,
Welsh out.
I was I was waiking for the Welsh. Yeah. It's as you were saying it, this is Scotland and England. I thought, oh, there's going to be some comments for Welsh people and Northern Ireland.
And Irish, yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love diving into it, learning more stuff, because
Yeah.
it's again for me starting here, I was such an outsider that I didn't know like all my new friends that I've made in Benidorm, the
Hmm.
other acts, and I would go see their shows, and they had so much
Hmm.
in common with the audience because they were, my friend was from Liverpool, the other one was from Manchester, and they
Hmm.
have all these sort of shared life experience, cultural experience. And I feel like an alien, that they trained an alien to go and interact with these group of people. Just so I remember, I spoke pretty good English coming to Benidorm, but it was such an American English, and I was doing the shows in at 1 a.m. with the band. It was 1 a.m. We would finish at half two. So you're in a venue where every table is from a different part of the UK. Everyone
Hmm.
has a different accent, and everyone's pissed. So you just go. I didn't understand anything. I was like, what? Everything had to be repeated like over and over, and you're thinking like, is this the accent or is this the alcohol or what's going on? Like, does this person have a speech impediment? I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. So no, it's just a Brummy accent.
Brilliant, brilliant. But the thing is, as well, it's like, well, you're going to be going. Well, before I ask you this question, I was going to ask you, what's the craziest thing you've ever did on the stage? Because you're very,
Oh,
very flamboyant.
well, I like there's the things that I planned to be outrageous for on purpose. When we filmed one of my DVDs, I cut one of the keyboards with a chainsaw.
Ooh.
Yeah, and but that was sort of it was very controlled environment. Again, in Spain, we don't have the health and safety regulations that you have in the UK. I mean, no. Yeah. So I told the audience I just finished playing a song. It was like a very lively rock and roll song, and I just told the audience, all right, we're gonna bring another keyboard. We're gonna edit this, and I'm gonna cut it in half.
Was
with the chainsaw. And it was in the video, it was accelerated because it doesn't cut like butter. It actually takes a while to go through it. And I was shitting myself, and I was like things were flying off. So yeah, if you see the video, it's on YouTube. It's quite accelerated, so it's not, and it looks like, oh, it was quite smooth, but it was yeah, I wasn't feeling as cool as I wanted it to look.
brilliant. I tell you what, you must go through some bottles of water as well, eh? I'm starting to worry about all those plastic bottles, that are in the roof
Yeah.
there.
Well, people that haven't seen me at Uncle Pets, I have this. But that's the thing about playing every day, that you sort of go like, okay, so I'm singing this song and I've sang it a million times, and I want, how can I entertain myself? So I have a
Yeah.
bottle of water, and I'll explain for people who haven't seen me. So there's these sort of this, I don't know, you call it like a floating
Yeah. It's just like,
ceiling.
uh
So it has like panels. So I just push one and
yeah.
shove all the bottles there. And occasionally, if I need the show to have a little boost of energy, I would just tilt the whole thing and just balls fall all over the stage.
Brilliant.
But yeah, no, I used to have this song that I would do was like an instrumental piano, and
Yeah.
just the monotony of playing every day sort of started adding things to it. So when I started playing it, it was just an instrumental song, and then I just go, I'll just start like putting my foot, on the keyboard, or just kicking it, or lift it in the air, and it just, But I mean, that's the sort of stuff that gives you, when you have so much hours on stage,
Yeah.
that you need to, you start looking for more, opportunities to be entertaining.
I tell you what, I mean, you do give a lot of energy on stage. I mean, when you go home, you must be knackered.
It
Yeah.
takes a while to calm down. I can't go. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Bro.
used to it, and a lot of times, another thing that Benidorm, so the work lifestyle of Benidorm gave
Mhm.
me doing all these shows, that you would finish a show and you're on somewhere else in 15 minutes.
Mhm.
So it was just like, and you restart the whole, the show, the
Yeah.
atmosphere, and it was, when it was four shows. I mean, sometimes you'd be like, did I sing this song already? This is like, I would tell the audience, listen, this is my fourth show. If I'm going to sing the same song twice, let me know, because I can't remember if it was here or there. Um, but yeah, it's
Fantastic, fantastic. And the thing is as well, I mean, obviously, I mean, you're very popular and you've got a tour out, haven't you? You're getting a tour out, is it September?
it starts September. It's not a continuous tour. I go back and forth
Hmm.
from Spain to the UK.
Yeah.
It's my sixth year. I started 2018. There was a pause in the middle. Yeah. No, it's the sixth year I'm in the UK. Have started doing it by myself. I've been in Benidorm for that long, and I had a few friends who are not British, who also, Benidorm acts, that started going to the UK, and I thought, let's just give it a try, because no one was really, there were some offers, you want to come play in our club and stuff like that, and thought, I'll just
Mhm.
start, going, and it'll be an experience, and also, see who shows up, because before, I've never played in the UK, so you meet a lot of people here. I mean, there's like 4 million tourists come here every year.
Oh yeah.
Not all of them come to Uncle Ped's, but but I was playing in a lot of places then, so I just, a lot of people you meet every day. Every room you're in, there's 150 people. So maybe by the end of the year, who's going to show up to the gigs, and
Fantastic. And you've got merchandise and stuff as well for people, isn't it? Cool
yeah,
t-shirts and
that
stuff. I've noticed that.
yeah, I got to. Well, I would have shown here. I'll get the whole. I'll send you all the pictures to show. Yeah, again, just yeah, just making the most out of the banter, and the catchphrases, and so wait, I don't know if I have anything to show you here.
Yeah.
Show the audience. I don't know if it's inverted.
Oh, fantastic. My penis.
Yeah,
Ah, it's
my
quality.
pen
My penis in your
is in
hand.
your hand.
Brilliant.
No, no, pen is.
My pen is
Yeah,
in your hand.
I'm watching it inverted, but yeah, just thinking like, all right, so they're on holiday, people buy souvenirs, might as well sell my own, and yeah, just trying to think what's funny about a pen. It sounds like penis. That's it.
Fantastic.
And there's a beach towel that says "sit on my face," and I'm like that. So yeah, Oh,
Brilliant, brilliant. And the thing is, what I'm going to tell the people in here is, if you want to go and see Pablo, like when he's doing his gigs, concerts, whatever it is, but they're fantastic. You'll be up and down the country, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that link in the descriptions on this particular video. So check it out and get the tickets. But I mean, you'll be going up and down. I mean, you'll be in Edinburgh, and
yep.
you're going to Glasgow as well, aren't you?
Yeah, Glasgow sold out, which is
Fantastic.
great. Yeah, that's my
And then you go to
sometimes
Edinburgh.
a
Eh,
couple of towns in the UK feels like I'm in my hometown because I've met so many people over the
yeah.
years
And you're
from
going to the Hibs Club, aren't you? The Hibs Club in Edinburgh.
playing the Hibbies in on sunny side. Are you a Hibs
I've
supporter?
been drunk so many times in that club that you wouldn't believe, you know.
Well,
And that's because, and it's not because my team's been winning, you know. It's
yeah.
just, they're just, they're disappointing at times, but just one of
You know
those
what?
teams.
Funny enough, the Hibs Club is the only place I've ever been pissed on tour because I did a show. The first time I was there, I made the mistake of telling a Scottish audience, whatever you bring to the stage, I will drink. And yeah, I mean, I'm now in a very health lifestyle. I'm going to the gym and stuff, but I was never a big drinker. But it would be some sort of like a fun thing in that people would send shots to the
Yeah.
stage. At
Uh,
some point, I started telling the bar staff just tell them it's Jägermeister, but just put Diet Coke or something because I don't want to have. But I was at the Hibs Club and I said, just you know what, just throw anything at me and I'll drink it. And they just started bringing all the Jaeger, the item
the
brew
I am
bombs and the
ruined.
Jaeger bombs
Jaeger
and just
bombs.
and whiskey and just I have a tour manager and she had to like scrape me off the stage. You know, it was like at the end of the show, like people are dancing and I'm like, you sing. But yeah, no, that's not the professionalism I usually display.
Excellent. You did play at the
Yeah,
Dockers Club a few years ago,
I
didn't
have.
you?
Yeah.
That was my,
Is
see,
that a,
that's just actually down the road from where the Hibs Club is. But
yeah.
the Dockers Club, see, my dad used to be a docker in Leith, and every Saturday he'd be in the Dockers Club. He would be in the Dockers Club every Saturday.
Yeah.
And, but I think I tell you what, he might have went to see you, but I'm not sure if he did. But
My gig there was a Sunday, I remember, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, but he
Yeah.
would have went on the Sunday because I'm sure he told me some guy was playing, but he said, "Oh, I couldn't remember his name. It was probably you." But definitely was him. But I was going to say, Pablo, we've not really got much time on here just now. I'm going to ask you one more question before going off here, and that question is, what does the future hold for Pablo Bloom? What could you see
Yeah.
in 5 or 10 years' time?
Well, I'm it's a
Like for
good
yourself, I mean, for yourself.
I ask myself this quite a lot. Hopefully, continue doing stuff that I love, create more content because do more, comedy songs, more original stuff.
Hmm.
I dream of going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival
Hmm.
with my own show that's a bit less reliant on,
Hmm.
songs, a bit more, have the balls to go, have to
Honestly, you know
go
what? Well,
more.
when the Edinburgh Festival's on, I always go out. Years ago, I used to do lots of theatre in Edinburgh Festival. I played in lots of different venues, like from big venues to smaller venues. And when you play in the smaller venues and play, like, so I was in like a lot of theatre plays, it was like scarier than playing in the big venues. So honestly, have you never played at the festival before?
No,
Get your
I've never been. I might come over just to see it to get more of the atmosphere.
get yourself to come and see it, Pablo, because it is incredible. It's the biggest arts festival in the world, and you'll see lots of famous people there as well. Lots of film stars go. You get lots of famous comedians and musicians, that go along. And you'd be walking in the street and you'd be thinking, oh, there's such and such, or there's that person there. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
Amazing. I think it'd be fantastic if you came. Honestly, it'd be right down your street. You would love
Yeah.
it. I know you would
I
love
would,
it.
I would, I would love it. I mean, yeah. So hopefully, that could be uh, something in my future, and but enjoy life as well. And I have two kids that have, been very present in their upbringing,
Hmm.
and at the end of it, I'm very thankful for life, and I do what I love, and I entertain
Absolutely.
people, and I get to do something that makes me happy and make other
Hmm.
people happy most of the time. And just want to create more. I've been doing a lot of YouTube videos over the years, and I want to do more of that in a more, I don't know, more consistent rhythm.
Hmm.
So I'm working on that and doing, making sure the show keeps, growing and doing more stuff. And yeah, just keep
Fantastic.
growing.
Well, fantastic. Well, I mean, when I saw you the last time, it's like the audience absolutely loved you. You could tell they loved you, and you were brilliant. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you. I'm just saying that you were absolutely
Because I paid you.
fantastic. Oh, you were brilliant, mate, honestly. But this is us came to the end of our little show just now. So all I can say, Pablo, is listen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
And
I'm looking forward to having you back in the sunshine. Although, if you
absolutely.
look at the background, it looks like you're living in the sunny country.
That's my garden. That's my garden there,
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, and
looks
it's you probably
exotic.
just barely see it. But yeah, and this is
Yeah,
my sunroom I'm
a,
in as well. It's just kind of
a lemon
it'll just
tree.
kind of go like that. See?
No, no, looks good. Looks good. I saw it on your social media that you've been
And
working on it.
yeah, I mean when I last kind of like did did this, it was like I was doing it in like a kind of darker room. And I'm during the day just now. I mean, I could have had a light on just now just to shine on my face, but it would have just been a shadow. But no, it's just this is better. It's just better being in here and just you could just see the nice background and and just nice and summery and
Yeah,
that's absolutely lovely.
yeah.
But listen, mate, thanks for coming on here, and hope
Cheers
cheers, mate. And listen, I'll tell you what. Hopefully, I'll have
and
a catch up
and
with you soon. I'll
cheers.
I'll be I'll be in Italy, France, and Spain over the next month or so, and I'm going to Las Vegas in October. But hopefully, if you're here, hopefully could catch up before I go to all these places. But
Yeah,
Pablo, honestly, thank you so much, mate. And listen, just carry on being brilliant and doing your show over in Benidorm because it's
yeah.
fantastic. You're brilliant, mate, and hope to see you again soon. Okay,
Thank you very much,
okay.
Robert. Oh.